When you think about the game Destiny, players remember so many memorable moments. From playing strikes with your friends from school, to completing your very first raid with a few coworkers. Or maybe it was your very first time going flawless. But some of the most memorable moments for players have been when they got their first exotic. Oh my god! Exotic weapons and armor are what separate Destiny from other games, from their uniqueness to their lore behind each exotic. Since the launch of Destiny 2, we've had several exotics from Destiny 1 be carried over into Destiny 2. But there are so many exotics that never made the transition into Destiny 2. So today's video, we're going to be jumping in our time machine and going back to Destiny 1 and taking a look at the top 10 exotics that should return to Destiny 2. If you've never played Destiny 1, then get ready to see some of the most unique exotics in the entire Destiny franchise. But before we do, if you enjoyed today's video and you'd like to see more Destiny 2 content from me, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on all notifications. But with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Our first exotic on the list is the exotic energy sidearm, the Trespasser. This sidearm was released with the launch of the Rise of Iron expansion. Now this is a 3-round burst sidearm that comes with the exotic perk Unrepentant. Reloading after a kill causes the next burst to be a longer, more powerful burst. This sidearm also came with the legendary perk Relentless Tracker, in which kills with this weapon grant enhanced motion tracker resolution for a short time. This perk paired extremely well with the exotic perk Unrepentant since they were both activated after securing a kill. Overall, this exotic sidearm was fairly balanced since the exotic perk wasn't active more than 5 seconds. Now upon its initial release, this sidearm saw very low usage. But after Bungie made changes to the special ammo economy, the Trespasser gravitated to the top of the list. But what if this exotic was brought into Destiny 2? Would it fall into the category of forgotten exotics? I'm looking at you, Darcy. Personally, I think that the Trespasser would fit well in the current meta. With other sidearms like Devil's Ruin, Cryosthesia, Traveler's Chosen, and the Rat King getting a lot of playtime this season, I think it would be a great exotic to bring into Destiny 2, and it wouldn't break the game. For those who never played Destiny 1, what if I told you that only hunters were allowed to use the Ace of Spades? You'd think I was crazy. In Destiny 1, each class had a class-specific exotic weapon, and our next exotic on the list is one that was exclusive to the Titan class. That weapon is the Titan exclusive auto rifle, the Fabian Strategy. This Hawkeye auto rifle was released alongside the Taken King expansion. Now this auto rifle was very unique and came with the exotic perk Frontlines, in which you gain an increase in handling, stability, and rate of fire when enemies are close. Kills automatically reload a portion of the magazine. This weapon did come with a few legendary perks, such as life support, in which kills with this weapon while critically wounded has a chance to start health regeneration. And lastly, it had the perk Crowd Control, which is Destiny 2's counterpart of Rampage, in which kills with this weapon grant bonus damage for a short time. When it comes to weapon synergy, the Fabian Strategy is no stranger to it. With its ability to have its rate of fire increased, alongside the bonus damage from Crowd Control and the ability to start health regeneration, this weapon had a lot going for it. But the Fabian Strategy wasn't at the top of the food chain when it came to the meta. You can say that a bit of the blame came from it being a Titan-specific exotic, or how difficult it was to activate the perk Frontlines. I think that if Fabian Strategy were to be brought forward, I would love for Bungie to take the same approach that they did with the Ace of Spades and let all classes use the weapon. It would be interesting to see what builds players can create with the Fabian Strategy, especially with exotics like Actium War Rig. The next weapon on the list has unlimited ammunition. Well, kinda. We have the exotic full auto shotgun, the INVECTIVE. Now this weapon was released at the very beginning of Destiny, and unlike the exotics we know today, this one was locked behind bounties. Yes guys, the INVECTIVE was locked behind bounties. The only way to acquire this weapon was by turning in bounties to the bounty tracker in hopes an exotic bounty would drop for you. Now this exotic comes with the exotic perk INVECTIVE, in which this weapon regenerates ammo over time. Now I know what you're thinking, but even though it regenerates ammunition over time, you are limited to 4 shots. This shotgun also comes with the perk Final Round, in which the last round in the magazine deals bonus damage. That means after you fire your last shot of the invective, as soon as it's regenerated, it becomes the final shot again. Yep, this is what made invective such a nice shotgun back in the day, that Final Round perk. In the Destiny 1 meta, this shotgun wasn't the top dog, but it could still challenge the meta. With it being a full auto shotgun with the perk Final Round, players would just spam 4 shots into a single target without regard. Did they care? Of course not. Since it would regenerate its own ammunition, players didn't see a reason not to spend all the ammo all at once. If the invective were to return to Destiny 2, would it break the game? Probably not. With the abundance of special ammo already in the Crucible, this gun wouldn't see an advantage in basic games like Control. But in terms of Trials of Osiris, where special ammo is more scarce, I can see why it might be a problem. If you've played Destiny 2 at all lately, then you know fusion rifles are in a good spot, which makes me wonder how powerful our next exotic on the list would be. Our number 7 weapon on the list is the exotic fusion rifle, the Pocket Infinity. This gun was released at the launch of Destiny and was only obtainable from an exotic bounty. This fusion rifle came with the exotic perk Pocket Infinity, in which this gun fires in full auto mode and has a chance to return rounds that miss back into the magazine. Guys, to believe this fusion rifle once had a magazine of 8 and you could full auto the entire magazine. But Bungie realized this immediately and changed the magazine to hold a maximum of only 4 rounds if you use the perk Extended Magazine. Lastly, it did come with the perk Surplus, but unlike the current Surplus perk we have in Destiny 2, this perk would allow players to find more ammo for this weapon and increased ammo capacity. To be honest, this weapon was a sleeper in Destiny 1, and with the dominance of shotguns, most fusion rifles were always second fiddle to all the best shotguns, such as Party Crasher, Conspiracy Theory D, and Matador. Currently in Destiny 2, fusion rifles have risen up the ranks, and in my opinion, are more dominant than shotguns at the moment. I would love to see how Pocket Infinity would fare up against our heavy hitters like the Snorri, the Likely Suspect, and even the main ingredients. Alright. What if I told you there was a gun out there that would be really good? You just had to give up your super for it. Would you? Coming in at number 6, we have the Talalak. This is another class specific gun. This one was exclusive to only Warlocks. This exotic scout rifle was released at the launch of the Taken King expansion. This exotic scout rifle came with a bunch of different perks. For starters, this was our very first glimpse into the perk Demolitionist. But in Destiny 1, this perk was called Grenadier, in which kills with this weapon reduced the cooldown of your grenade. The Talalak also came with the perk Eye of the Storm. Lastly, the exotic perk for the Talalak is Overflow. This weapon has better handling, rate of fire, and stability while the wielder's super is charged. When the perk Overflow is active, your scout rifle now fires at 220 RPMs, but it retains its 180 RPM damage, thus making it a monster when your super is fully charged. The exotic perk took a decent scout rifle and turned it into a monster. I think the biggest drawback to the exotic scout rifle, the Talalak, was that it was exclusive to only Warlocks. If this scout rifle were to ever make an appearance in Destiny 2, and Bungie took the Ace of Spades approach and let every Guardian use it, I could really see the Talalak being one of the best weapons in the game. It would force players to choose between utilizing your super or having a gun with a rate of fire increase and bonus stability. What do you think? Is that a fair trade-off? Let me know down in the comment section. If Talalak came back, do you think the perk Overflow is worth it? See this gun right here? What if I told you this wasn't the first iteration of it? Before we had the Crimson, we had the Red Death. This exotic pulse rifle, yes, the Red Death is a pulse rifle, unlike the Crimson, which is a pulse-style hand cannon, was released at the launch of Destiny 2 and comes with the exotic perk Red Death. Each kill heals you and speeds up reload. Unlike the Crimson with an identity crisis, the Red Death was designed as a hard-hitting run-and-gun pulse rifle. Let's not forget that the Red Death has one of the most interesting flavor texts in the Destiny universe. Vanguard policy urges Guardians to destroy this weapon on sight. There are very few weapons in Destiny with healing properties, and the Red Death was one of them. thus making it a great option for PvP. When I said that this gun was once a meta contender, I mean it sat at the top of the weapon usage for several weeks. Majority of players would agree with me that the Crimson is a more watered down version of the Red Death, since the Red Death could challenge enemies at all distances. If this gun were to be brought back in Destiny 2, I think it would immediately see more playtime than the Crimson. With pulse rifles being in a great spot in the meta, I can see the Red Death being used in every activity. Overall, the design of the Red Death, from the skull and bone crosshairs to the blood on the weapon, really makes you wonder if it was used to kill Guardians. Our fourth gun on the list is one that looks vaguely familiar. No, it's not the Last Word, but from the makers of Tex Mechanica, I present to you the First Curse. This gun is the polar opposite of the Last Word. Think everything about the Last Word and change it. The First Curse was a heavy-hitting, slow-firing monster, and in the right hands can be a great team shot weapon. This exotic hand cannon was released alongside the Taken King expansion and came with two very unique perks. For starters, it had the perk Deadeye, bonus to range, stability, and movement when aiming down sights, which was necessary for any high-impact hand cannon in Destiny 1. It also had the perk The First Curse. First precision kill of the magazine refills it, granting bonus to range and stability until the player reloads. The synergy between both of these perks were great and really made this a unique exotic, with hand cannons like Igneous Hammer and True Prophecy. And let's not forget our other exotic high-impact hand cannon, the SIDEARM. I think the First Curse would fit well in the current meta. But what can I say? It's another Tex Mechanica gun, and any gun coming from them are really good. Unlike Destiny 2, in Destiny 1, players didn't have access to kinetic special weapons. So when it came time to choose your special weapon, majority, and I mean majority of players gravitated towards their trusty Matador or their Party Crasher +1. But what if I told you there was one shotgun that used primary ammo? Coming in at number 3, we have the Universal Remote. This shotgun was the first ever primary ammo shotgun introduced into the Destiny universe. This exotic shotgun was released at the launch of Destiny, and it came with the perk Crowd Control. Kills with this weapon grant bonus damage for a short time. It also had the exotic perk Universal Remote. Range and precision damage increases greatly while aiming down sights. This weapon never became a household name, but after the nerf to special ammunition in PvP, players slowly gravitated towards this exotic since it didn't require special ammo. What really made this shotgun unique was its weirdly placed scope at the top of the shotgun and its variety of range perks such as Smooth Ballistics, Hammer Forged, and the perk Universal Remote. This shotgun was no stranger to long-range one-hit kills. I think a shotgun that utilizes primary ammo would be an interesting addition to the game in not only PvP but PvE as well. All video long, I mentioned a special ammo nerf and how players were trying to find ways around it. Well, our number 2 gun was the answer to the nerf. We have none other than the exotic sniper rifle, the Icebreaker. This weapon was used by everyone. If you were playing PvP, especially in Trials of Osiris, then you were using this exotic sniper rifle. With perks like no backpack, this weapon cannot be reloaded, regenerates ammo over time. Players didn't have a need for special ammunition anymore. All they needed was time. Every 5 seconds, your Icebreaker would automatically load 1 round into the magazine. And if that wasn't busted enough, you could hold a total of 6 rounds. If you hated the Revoker in Destiny 2, you would hate the Icebreaker even more. Let's not forget that the Icebreaker did have the exotic perk Icebreaker. Icebreaker's victims spontaneously combust, dealing damage to others nearby. Yes, it had its own Firefly perk. Personally, I think this weapon would never come back. If Bungie ever wanted to balance PvP and PvE, the Icebreaker would be the Telesto of snipers. We finally made it to the final weapon on the list, and I'm sure any Destiny veteran knows which weapon is left. People still talk about this exotic to this day. Our final weapon is the No Land Beyond. This was Destiny's very first kinetic sniper rifle. Similar to the Universal Remote, No Land Beyond didn't use special ammunition. This bolt action sniper didn't have your typical sniper rifle scope. It had the good old-fashioned iron sights. This exotic sniper rifle came with such a good set of perks, it only amplified how great the gun was. With perks such as Mulligan, Snapshot, and the exotic perk the Master, any player who enjoyed sniping in Destiny loved the No Land Beyond. This sniper rifle was released at the launch of Destiny, and once players discovered how deadly it was with its one-hit capabilities and surplus of ammunition, players would be grinding activities over and over and over just for a chance to obtain this weapon. I think that this weapon would fit well in the current Destiny 2 meta, and just seeing how unique it is, with it being a bolt action with iron sights, I, just like many other Destiny players, would rejoice if the No Land Beyond ever returned to Destiny 2. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say I want new exotics for Destiny 2, but if Bungie were to bring any exotics from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2, I would really wish to see some of these weapons return. Let me know down in the comment section if you agree with this list or not. If not, then what exotics would you love to see come back? If you enjoyed today's video, a like is greatly appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, remember to hit that subscribe button for more Destiny 2 content, and don't forget to turn on all notifications. Remember, if you ever want to chat with me or any other Destiny players, feel free to join the BRAVExHERO Discord server. The link will be down below. You guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next video.